Hey y'all, and welcome to episode 102 of the Crazy Sock Lady podcast. My name is Kay, and this is my podcast where I chat about all of my knitting and crocheting adventures. Today is Wednesday, May 27th, and I have been just waiting for this day. I have such an exciting announcement for you guys today. Stay tuned. It's what I've been hinting at for quite a while, what I've been working on for months and months. So I can't wait to share this with you guys. I'm going to try to wait until a little later on in the episode. We'll see if I can hold out. So you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as The Crazy Sock Lady. And I do have a group for this podcast on Ravelry. And the link for that will be right down below this video, as well as links to project pages that I talk about, links to needles that I talk about, shops, everything like that will be right there for you. Today, like I said, I have a super exciting announcement. I also have 2 finished objects since the last episode, a couple of works in progress. So let's go ahead and jump right in. First, as always, I want to remind you of 2 knit-alongs that we have going on right now. The first one is the Stache Busters Cal, and this is a year-long knit-along that I am co-hosting with Julie of Twin Stitches Designs podcast. This is basically use your stash. That's just it. Just use up your gorgeous stash yarn that you've had sitting around. It's calling your name. Use it up and you have a chance to win some prizes. I will put the link to the Ravelry thread down below this video and it'll have more information over there. And then I do have a video here on YouTube where I chat more about the knit along. If you want to watch that, I will link that down below as well. We also have the Rainbow Connection sock knit along. This is for my pattern, the Rainbow Connection socks. And it's just knit a pair of these socks. You can knit as many pairs as you want and enter them all. And this runs until the end of July. So I think that's it for Ravelry group. Take a sip of coffee and let's jump into finished objects. I have 2 pairs of vanilla socks that are finished. These are ones I was working on for some tutorials, and I finally have, well, the tutorials are not completely 100% done. One of them is, one is halfway done. Halfway done with editing. I'm done recording. So I think I finished, nope, actually I think I finished these ones first. So I have these, I'll link the shop for the sock blockers down below. Let me write that down so I don't forget, because I always get questions about where I got my sock blockers. These ones were a gift, but they are from, the shop that they came from is Burning Impressions. And these socks I knit out of pineapple yarn. Oops, sorry, I bumped the table. I knit these out of pineapple yarn on her Lonnie sock base, which is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon blend. And the colorway is from her Glow Club. I think it was from November of 2019, and it is brown sugared fig. Very pretty. So for these, I was doing a tutorial for double pointed needles, vanilla socks on double pointed needles, and I did cuff down with a slip stitch heel flap, and then my rounded toe. And I knit 64 stitches, US 1 2.25 millimeter needles, knit 1, purl 1 for the rib. And that tutorial is done, more about that in a bit. But this one was on 9-inch circulars. And this yarn is Barnyard Knits in the Stone Harbor colorway. And it is on their 75-25 base as well. I can't remember the name of the base, but 75-25 base. Same exact thing for this sock for stitch count, needles used. It's done the exact same way, just another plain vanilla all stockinette sock. And these sock blockers were from Webs, their online store. So those are my 2 finished objects, 2 vanilla socks. I feel like I've been really in the process of finishing a lot of things lately, and it feels really, really good. There's always such a sense of like accomplishment and excitement to finish things. partly because now it has me dreaming of all the new things I can cast on. Let's not lie, that's a huge part of it. So I'm already thinking about like what vanilla socks I can cast on next. And I'm working on my olive leaf pullover. Let's talk about that. And I'm so close to being done with it. So I'm already thinking about what sweater I want to do next. So I have this pullover in my Fringe Supply Co. I think this is a town bag, maybe. Their bigger bag. I love it. And last episode, I set the goal to finish off the chart for the pattern on the body. And I passed that goal, so yay. And I also finished off the body. So the body is completely done. I'll pull the sleeve up there on the cord. There we go. And this morning I sat down, I'm still doing 30 minutes every morning. And then I do work on it some maybe throughout the day or in the evenings here and there as well. Not every day on those, but I'm doing the 30 minutes every morning. So this morning, my 30 minutes was spent starting this sleeve. You wanna know something funny? So part of that 30 minutes was spent thinking, I went through these are Knitter's Pride Zings. And I had the case out that they're in and I was looking at all of the cables and I was like, I have there was two packages for 16-inch cables, but they were empty. And this sweater was in my lap the whole time. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, where in the world are those 16-inch cables? Because I don't have any other projects going that I would have used them for. What happened to them? So I like put them away. Okay, move on. Not sure where they are. I'm still thinking about it. Getting ready to I pick my sweater up. I'm getting ready to start transferring the stitches that I had on hold onto my needle. There's my 16-inch cable. I had two 16-inch cables using them as stoppers. I was like, oh, that's where they are. Mind you, I had been looking at the sweater, looked at those cables, then looked in the case of Zings and wondered where those cables were. It was already 8:30 at that point and I hadn't had my first cup of coffee. So that's what I'm blaming that on today. All right, so the sleeve is started. Here's the sweater. And I am hoping, which I know I'll get a little bit more length because that you usually do when you block, because I want just a smidge more length. I did do a split hem. The front, it calls for the front to be a little bit shorter than the back. There's the patterning on the front, so pretty. And then the patterning it's gonna go down the sleeve as well. The yarn that I'm using for this is Malabrigo Sock in the Impressionist Sky colorway. Such a stunning blue. So I'm really pleased with the progress, and I'm gonna say my goal for the next podcast is to have this first sleeve done. They're 3/4 length sleeves, so they're not full sleeves, and it's a drop sleeve, so it's already, gonna be a shorter sleeve. And I should have more than enough yarn for this because I just started with this skein. I think I did the back part of the hem with that skein, and then I should have plenty. That's the last skein that I have, but it's gonna be more than enough. So that's my first work in progress. I only have one other to show today. This is in my Stitchin' You Wizard of Oz bag with my Crazy Sock Lady pin, which they've shipped the other ones that I ordered, so I should be getting them soon. All right, so this is my May Desert Rose to Dye Work socks. I am doing her year-long knit-along. And the yarn I'm using is Daphne Zombody. My cake's looking a little crazy. I decided for this to do an Afterthought everything sock, meaning that you knit one long tube. Start with a cuff, end with a cuff, and then you cut in for your toes and your heels. So I had so much fun doing this. I really enjoyed just knitting away on this tube. And then I finished off the cuff yesterday while I was on a Zoom call for my knit group. I'll be recording a tutorial. I've already done an Afterthought Heel tutorial. It'll be up next month. And then I'm going to do an Afterthought everything tutorial. I won't go into detail on how to do an Afterthought heel on that one, but I'm going to briefly talk about it and then talk about how you cut in for your toes with an Afterthought everything sock. So what I did is I started down here with my cuff. I place a marker on any sock that I knit every 10 rounds. It makes it very easy to just count. You don't have to tick off your rows. You just count, see if you have 10, place a marker on the 10th row, and then you can just count how many you've done for your leg or for your foot by 10s. This makes it super easy, and then you make the second sock to match. So I know I like 60 rounds for my leg, so I knit 60 rounds, and then I placed my marker for my Afterthought heel. I placed a marker on the first, middle, and last stitch of the back of the sock. So I know exactly where to go in and get those. And I talk about all this in the tutorial that'll be out next month. Then I knit down to where I needed to place my toe, and I did the same thing, but I did this on the front and the back of the sock. I placed a marker first, middle, and last stitch of the beginning, of the front and the back. Then this is the second foot. I did it the same amount of rounds to match that one. Marked for my heel, then did 60 rounds for the leg, 20 rounds for the cuff. I knit these magic loop on a US 1 2.25 millimeter needles, and I cast on 64 stitches. Did knit 2, purl 2 for the ribbing, and I used the sewn bind off for this cuff. Yes, it does flare just a little bit, but when it's on your leg or even a sock blocker, you can't tell. So I'm not fazed that it looks like that right now. What else? So obviously now I just need to cut in and add heels and toes. Basically you're adding 4 toes because the heel is just the same decreases as the toe, pretty much. The plan is I'm gonna record that tutorial tomorrow morning and get that all done, and then that tutorial for the Afterthought everything will go up after the Afterthought heel tutorial in June, possibly the beginning of July. So keep an eye out for all those fun things. And I guess that's my last work in progress. So this pretty much leads us into talking about the exciting announcement, because that's the only other thing that I have to talk about today. I have been working on this for so many months. Truly, it's been months and months of work and thought, and then like the actual recording of some tutorials, and just so much behind the scenes stuff has went into this. I'm kind of nervous to announce it, honestly. I think just because I've put so much work into it, it's kind of nerve-wracking to finally put it out into the world. The only people that have known about it are super close friends, family, my knit group. That's really it. I've hinted at it, but I haven't shared what my plan is for this summer. I thought I've had so many people ask for years, really, for me to do sock tutorials. And I always kind of hemmed and hawed about it, because there are so many tutorials on YouTube. There are so many great tutorials on YouTube, ones that I've learned from. So I was hesitant to do any tutorials. Lately, over the past year or so, I've done more. I've put them in my sock patterns. Some are out that are just on YouTube all the time that aren't within the sock pattern. And I've had such a good response to those. And still, I've had questions for sock tutorials, how to do socks on magic loop, or how to do them on 9-inch circulars, or how to do a heel. It's just so many different requests. I finally thought, let's just go for it. Let's do sock tutorials. And I didn't want to just do them and put them up. So this idea was not all mine. I have to give Susan of Desert Vista Dye Works credit for helping my knit group as a whole. They've come up with some really amazing ideas that will put this whole thing for the summer together. But why not let's do something fun to release these tutorials, not just to release them and have them up. Let's make it a whole fun thing, and let's make it a fun thing for summer. And this was in works long before everything that's going on in the world, but then thinking about everything that's going on in the world right now and how so many summer activities are being canceled, I think this just makes this even more exciting for me. And I hope it will for you guys too. Okay, enough hinting about it. I am so excited to announce to you guys that I am going to be doing a summer sock camp. Obviously, it'll be a virtual summer sock camp. It's not something you can come to, but it's going to be full of so many fun things. I'm going to break down some of it here for you right now and chat about it for a minute. So Summer Sock Camp of 2020 will start June 1st. And the actual camp will run until July 31st. So it'll run till the end of July. And there'll also be a knit along that goes with it, and that will run until the end of August. Don't worry, you don't need to take notes on all of this. It'll all be in Ravelry, all of the things. So first I want to break down the camp part of Summer Sock Camp for you. I've recorded 3 tutorials that will launch on June 1st. There is vanilla socks on magic loop, vanilla socks on DPNs, double pointed needles, and vanilla socks on 9-inch circulars. So 3 how to knit socks tutorials. And I should probably preface everything by saying you do not have to be a newbie. You do not have to be someone who has never knit socks before to participate in the camp or in the knit along. So I want to preface that in case someone's like, oh, this doesn't apply to me. You don't have to be a newbie. So those 3 sock tutorials will be releasing June 1st. Here on YouTube, they will be free, up public for everybody to see. There will also be written patterns that will go along with each separate tutorial that break down that method wrote out for how to knit in the round using those needles. Those tutorials will be available for purchase on Etsy and Ravelry. You do not need them to do the video tutorial, but they are there to accompany that tutorial if you wish. They will only be $2, so a super small fee to get that written pattern and have that to work alongside the tutorials. I'm just taking a look to make sure I don't forget anything because there's so many fun things. So those 3 tutorials will release the day camp starts on June 1st. I, of course, will be your camp counselor for Summer Sock Camp. Counselor K, I guess. And there will be some other tutorials going up throughout June and July. The camp part will be the tutorials that'll be going up. I've already recorded the Afterthought Heel tutorial. Then I will record the Afterthought Everything sock tutorial. I've had some requests for a 2 at a time socks tutorial on those. So that is probably coming. That's something I haven't started yet, but that one would be coming in July. And then if you have any requests for tutorials, please pop them down below. I can't guarantee that I will get to them, but I am looking for a couple more tutorials to fill in some gaps here and there throughout June and July. So any requests that you have, please put them down below. Even if you think it's such a silly request, it probably isn't, and probably other people want that tutorial too. So put that down below for me. On top of the tutorials for the camp, there will also be weekly Instagram live videos to check in with your camp counselor. I will be there to chat with you guys about sock knitting, answer any questions that you have. I have not set specific days of the week for this because I'm going to bounce it around. Each week it'll probably be a different day. I'll announce it in advance. I'll try to do some in the morning, some in the evening, just different days too, so that everybody can have an opportunity, because not everybody's schedule's the same, and the time zones and all of that. So no specific day and time set for those. I'm gonna bounce around. That way, if you can only make one of them, you're still able to make one of them. But those will happen. Weekly is the plan. and we'll just get to check in and chat about socks. And like I said, I can answer any questions that you have if you're having trouble with your sock knitting. That'll just be a fun way to get to answer any questions that you have. I also plan on doing some Q&A videos for YouTube for sock knitting. So I want to go ahead and get a jump start on those. So any sock knitting questions that you have, put them down below this video so that I can go ahead and get started on the first Q&A and start getting that going and recorded for you guys. It could be about a method of sock knitting or getting a good fit, anything involving knitting socks. Pop it down below. I'm also going to have a specific email. It'll be put up around the time that summer sock camp starts for answering sock knitting questions during these 2 months of summer sock camp. I'm always available to answer your sock knitting questions. I love getting to answer them and when I get to help someone with their sock knitting questions, but I wanted to make a specific email just for summer sock camp. So that during this time, I can make sure I'm in tune with that, checking it even more, making myself more readily available to answer any sock knitting questions or concerns that you have, help you need if you're a newbie and you're watching one of those tutorials. I want this to be super successful for anyone that's coming and wants to learn how to knit socks. And like I've said, this does not have to be, you could be somebody who's knit socks for 20 years. You can still participate in summer sock camp. Join those Instagram lives, join the Ravelry group for the knit along, come and have fun knitting. There's always an opportunity, I feel, to learn new things. I'm constantly learning new different tips and tricks and techniques. So don't feel like you have to be a newbie to join us for this. You absolutely do not. I'm excited for things that I may learn from you guys with sock knitting throughout this whole opportunity. Something that I'm super excited about. Okay, now for the Ravelry group knit along part of it. So they're both gonna run together. We're gonna have all of this stuff going on YouTube and Instagram and helping each other and encouraging each other with knitting socks. And then there's gonna be the knit along. Because y'all, I want you to win some prizes for knitting your socks. So the knit along is actually gonna run from June 1st to the end of August. I wanna give everybody that extra month. The camp part where we do the Instagram lives, where new tutorials are going up, are only gonna be the 2 months, but the knit along is gonna be 3 months. Because I know if you're coming and you're brand new, you may, sometimes you have to start your sock again, or it just takes you a while to get it done. I want everybody to have that chance. So the knit along portion is gonna run an extra month after the camp. The way that will run is there are gonna be 3 different cabins. If you are knitting socks in the cabin, which cabin you place your finished object in will depend on what method you're using of working in the round. If you knit your sock with magic loop, you can enter that finished object in the magic loop cabin. If you then go and you knit a sock on DPNs, you can head over and enter that next finished object in the double pointed needles cabin. And then if you go on and you knit a 9-inch circular sock, you guessed it, there's a 9-inch circular cabin, and you can enter your socks over in the 9-inch circular cabin. So there will be so many different opportunities to win prizes and enter your finished objects. You do not have to use my patterns, my tutorials, anything like that. You can use any pattern, any tutorial, just knit socks. And then it just depends on which method you've used to knit in the round, on which one you get to enter it in. Now I know there is a method of knitting with 2 circulars. I am not experienced enough. Maybe if we do a summer sock camp 2021, depending on how this one goes, then we'll add that one in and I'll do a tutorial for those. But I'm not experienced in that method of knitting in the round, so I didn't include it this year. Okay. Like I said, you don't have to use my patterns. If you do use my patterns, that will give you the option to enter your finished object 2 times. That's whether you've watched the tutorial, you've done a patterned sock, or you've done the written vanilla sock pattern that will be coming out June 1st. Any of those, you get to enter your FO twice in which cabin you put it in. No works in progress for this one. New socks, new cast on, June 1st or after only. And I think that's it. And I had a logo made for Summer Sock Camp, so I'm gonna put that up here for you guys. I love this logo so much. Tiffany did this for me. She's done logo work for me before, and she always does such an amazing job. I can just tell her like a little bit of, oh, I'm kind of thinking this, and she goes with it, and it's amazing every time. So she did this Summer Sock Camp logo for me, and I'm kind of thinking, just basically for selfish reasons, because I want a pin. I want a Summer Sock Camp pin for myself to put on my Summer Sock Camp bag. Well, I don't have a Summer Sock Camp bag. That would be cool. But to put on my sock knitting bag for the summer and move it around when I knit my socks on different bags. So if anyone would like a Summer Sock Camp pin, let me know and I can put an order in ASAP. And if there's enough interest, because you have to order a certain amount, I think it's 100 is the least amount that you can order. So if there would be enough interest in Summer Sock Camp pins, I would totally do it. I think a Summer Sock Camp coffee mug would be fun. I'm way too excited about all of this, if you can't tell. I feel like I've probably been driving people crazy talking about it because I've been so excited to get it out to you guys that it's just been like all I've talked about to like Eric and my poor friend Jenny. They're probably tired of hearing about it. They'll be like, yes, it's released. Maybe she won't just be running ideas by us all the time. Hope that you guys are excited about this. I'm really like bursting with excitement about connecting with you guys this way for some tutorials and just a fun summer sock camp. I think this is such a fun idea and I can't wait to knit socks with you guys all summer, to chat with you guys about your socks, to answer your sock knitting questions. I do hope that there will be so many new people that have maybe never tried socks before or tried and failed or want to learn a new method. Maybe you're only magic loop and you want to try DPNs for the first time. I hope that these tutorials will be helpful for you guys. So keep an eye out. If you're watching this, you get to hear about it first because I'm not making the official Instagram announcement until Friday. And then you guys will have this weekend to get ready. I'll probably go ahead and put up some chatter threads in the Ravelry group. I'll probably just have, I don't know if I'll have a chatter thread for each cabin. That might be good in case you have specific questions about magic loop or, anything like that that you want to ask in that chatter thread. So I'll probably try to have the chatter threads up when this podcast goes up. That way you guys can go ahead, if you want to start chatting and you're excited about the knit along, you can go ahead and start chatting and picking out your yarns and posting what you're going to start with. And then the official cast on date and start date for Summer Sock Camp is June 1st. If you are a maker of any kind and you want to donate prizes to the Summer Sock Camp for the knit along portion, please get in touch with me at the Summer Sock Camp email. I'll go ahead and put it here on the bottom of the screen and just get in touch with me and let me know you want to donate some prizes. I would be so thrilled if you guys wanted to donate prizes to the Summer Sock Camp knit along. But I think that's it for today. Oh, super exciting news. Chatter-wise, not a ton going on. We've been hunting for like one of those, it's an above ground pole, but like one of the ones you can just get at Walmart with like the steel poles. They're soft on the side. They're not like a steel all over above ground pole that are super easy to like put up and then take down at the end of the season. We've been hunting for one of those, but apparently all of Arizona has bought pools since the public pools are closed because we can't find them. I actually went to Walmart this morning at 7 a.m. to be there when they opened because when I checked yesterday, the guy said, try coming as soon as we open. If any came in on the truck, they'll be out. We get them and then they're gone. There were none. But the guy I talked to yesterday was in the gardening section, and the lady that was actually working in the pool section today where they had like all the floats and pool chemicals and all of that, she said that there should be some coming on the truck tonight. So hopefully they'll have some tomorrow morning. I'm gonna go tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. again, be there when the doors open to go see if they have a pool. Wyatt really wants a pool, and I would love to do an in-ground pool, but it's just not in the budget, and we just had the yard landscaped. I'm like, oh no, we're not doing an in-ground one. I would prefer, I think, just to buy a house that had an in-ground pool and not have to have the yard tore up after we just landscaped it. So anyways, we're hunting for one of those because, there's just not going to be a whole lot going on this summer as far as going places and doing things. I'm not a huge public pool fan anyways, and they're closed right now. So I think it would be fun to have that. It won't be a huge one, but it'll be big enough that we can get in it and cool down. And I already know that if we get one, Wyatt will never be inside this summer. That kid loves the water so much. Our neighbors, if you've watched for a while, you heard me talk about Steph and Dusty that live next door. They've moved, but they had one, and Wyatt would go over there and swim with them, and he just had the best time. He loves swimming. But I think that's pretty much all that's been going on, is hunting for a pool. We replaced some light fixtures over the weekend in our downstairs bath and our upstairs hallway. I showed those on the vlog that was from over the weekend, from Sunday. I can't remember what the date was that day. And he started painting the downstairs cabinet, which I showed in yesterday's vlog. So you can see that. I've got a mess in here, shipping stuff. So the Crazy Sock Lady pins have shipped. It said they should be here today, but when I look at the tracking, I don't think they're gonna be here today. Hopefully soon. I know they've shipped. And then I've got something else in that box over there that I'll be announcing probably next week and putting it up in the Etsy shop. So I've basically got a ton of shipping supplies over here. Austin goes to the podiatrist tomorrow. So we will see if he gets the all clear to start practicing basketball again. He's been shooting around a little bit out in the front when we put the hoop out, and he feels good, but I haven't let him get fully back into it until he gets that all clear. So hopefully tomorrow afternoon he will get the clear from the podiatrist and be able to work out again, because he definitely misses it. But I think that wraps it up for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Let me know what you think about summer sock camp. If you have any questions about sock knitting for the Q&A, put them down below. What else? I think there was something else. I can't remember. Hopefully you guys remember what else I wanted you to put down below during this episode. But I will be chatting with you guys again soon. And then summer sock camp starts June 1st. So before I come back for another episode, summer sock camp will have started. My heart's racing just thinking about it. All right, I will see you guys again soon. Happy knitting. Bye.